Welcome to Toolbox of Tomorrow, a podcast created by an orchestra of AI tools, with a human conductor guiding the way. We explore what's new in AI and technology, highlighting the tools that can enhance human capabilities and keep you ahead of the curve. From the latest innovations to emerging trends, it's all powered by artificial intelligence.
This podcast is for informational purposes only. The content is generated primarily by AI tools, and we make no guarantees regarding the accuracy or completeness of the information. Please consult a professional before making any decisions based on this content. The creators are not liable for any actions taken as a result of listening. Listener discretion is advised.
All right, so we got a big stack of articles here, all about AI agents, and it seems like everyone wants to know how these things actually work.
Right.
Not just like chatbots, but we're talking about programs that can actually make decisions and take action on their own. And we've got articles here from all over the place. Forbes, IBM, even UiPath is chiming in, and they're
the automation experts.
Yeah, they're like right in the thick of it. So
yeah, there's a lot to unpack here.
Definitely less hype, more how to. I guess the first thing that kind of jumped out at me was this 5 stages of AI thing that OpenAI talks about.
Right.
Forbes mentions it, and it seems like the whole field is moving really fast.
Yeah, it's a really good framework to think about it.
Okay.
Level 1 was like those basic chatbots just having a conversation.
Right.
Level 2 is where things start to get interesting.
Okay.
That's about reasoning and problem solving. And OpenAI says that their latest model, O1, is already there.
So we're kind of past the chit-chat stage. The AI can think now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what's next?
Well, level 3 is where things get really wild.
Okay.
AI agents that can act on our behalf.
Wow.
And we're not even talking about future stuff here. This is happening now. Like Salesforce is already rolling these things out.
Really?
Google and Microsoft are probably right behind them.
So this is happening now.
Yeah.
Okay, so how does that even work? Like, I'm trying to picture an AI booking my flights, and
It's a little scary, right?
it is a little scary. Well, that's where agency comes in, and Gartner explains this well.
Okay.
You've got simple agents that just react to things, and then you have these advanced agents that can actually learn and plan.
Okay.
But the key right now is that tools are what give these AI agents their power.
Tools, like what kind of tools are we talking about?
So think APIs, databases, even access to other AI agents.
Okay.
That's where the real potential is. And IBM talks about how an agent could plan like a whole surfing trip for you, checking the weather, even consulting a specialized searching AI.
Whoa, like an AI team up.
It's pretty wild, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But hold on, if this thing is booking my flights, does it know my budget?
Right.
What if it sticks me in first class?
That's exactly the problem that Forbes brings up.
Yep.
It's like the Wild West out here, legally speaking.
Yeah.
Who's responsible if the AI makes a choice that costs you a lot of money?
Right.
We're kind of figuring that out as we go.
So we need some rules, but the AI also needs to be smart, right?
Exactly.
And I saw this really technical blog post that was going deep into how these agents plan things out.
Yes.
And even replan if things go wrong.
Right.
And it got really complicated really fast.
Yeah, and that's where it gets fascinating because the blog uses this term reasoning without observation.
Okay.
Which basically means that the agent is creating a plan in its head before it starts using tools to actually get information.
So it's like strategy first and then action.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they call this the plan work solve pattern.
Okay.
And it makes the agent super efficient.
Makes sense.
No wasted effort. It can even like check with the user before it does anything.
Okay, so that's me.
Yeah, you in this case.
All right, so what happens if something unexpected comes up, like the flight gets canceled or, the perfect wave is on a different day?
Well, that's where replanning kicks in.
Okay.
And the blog explains how these AI agents can adapt their plans based on new information or obstacles that they run into.
So they become more dynamic.
Exactly, less rigid.
Okay, so I'm starting to get the picture here. The AI gets the instructions, it makes a plan, it uses tools to actually do stuff,
Yeah.
and it can even change the plan on the fly.
Yeah. It's pretty impressive stuff.
It is pretty impressive.
And IBM really stresses that reasoning is at the heart of all of this.
Okay.
True agency means that the AI understands the goal.
Yeah.
It breaks it down, and it figures out the best way to get there. It's not just blindly following orders.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and that ability to reason and adapt, I mean, that's really what makes these agents so different from the basic automation we're used to.
right? Like setting a timer on your coffee maker.
Exactly. It's not just following a pre-programmed set of instructions. These AI agents, they're designed to handle complexity and uncertainty.
Okay, so speaking of complexity, you mentioned that surfing trip example earlier.
Uh-huh.
Let's break that down a little bit. Like, what's actually happening behind the scenes when an AI is planning your vacation?
Okay, so picture this. You tell the AI agent that you want to go surfing in Greece, but you're flexible on the dates.
Right.
So the agent's goal is clear. It needs to find the best week for surfing in Greece sometime within the next year.
Sounds simple enough, but how does it actually do that?
Well, first, it realizes that it doesn't have all the information that it needs. So it starts by gathering data.
Okay.
It could tap into like a weather database for Greece, looking at historical weather patterns to see when the conditions were ideal for surfing.
Okay, that makes sense, but how does it know what ideal means for surfing?
Right. So that's things like wave height, wind speed, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And that's where it might actually consult another AI, one that specializes in surfing conditions.
Oh, wow.
And this is where the power of these multi-agent systems comes in.
Right.
You've got different AIs with specialized knowledge that can actually work together.
So it's like calling in an expert consultant.
Exactly.
Except it's another AI.
Precisely. And this collaboration is really what makes these agents so powerful. They can leverage each other's strengths to solve problems that a single agent just couldn't handle on its own.
So it's like having a whole team of AI experts working for you.
It is.
That's incredible.
And the applications go way beyond vacation planning. Imagine AI agents working together to optimize supply chains or develop new medical treatments.
Wow.
Or even personalize education for each student's needs. I mean, the possibilities are pretty much endless.
That's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring it back down to earth for a second and talk about another example from that technical blog post, self-correcting code.
Ah, yes, that one's a favorite of mine. That's where we see these AI agents acting as both developers and critics.
So they're not just writing code, they're actually evaluating it and making improvements.
The blog describes how these agents can use a pattern called reflection and critique to analyze their own code spot errors and then rewrite it to be better.
Wow. So they're constantly learning and improving.
Exactly. No more waiting once for a bug fix.
Yeah.
And this can have a huge impact on software development, faster development cycles, higher quality software, less time spent debugging.
Okay, so we're seeing how these AI agents can work together. They can plan complex tasks, and they can even improve their own performance. But we have to talk about the risks, right? What if things go wrong?
Yeah, you're right. We can't ignore the potential downsides. And I think one of the biggest concerns is security.
Right.
As these agents become more powerful and more autonomous, they also become more attractive targets for hackers.
Because if you can hijack an AI agent that has access to all this sensitive data or these important systems, I mean, the damage could be enormous.
Absolutely. And UiPath is very clear about this in their article. They emphasize the need for robust security measures to protect these AI agents from being compromised.
Okay. And what about unintended consequences? Like, what if the AI agent goes rogue, does something we didn't anticipate?
That's another valid concern. Remember that Forbes article about the AI agent breaking the rules in a cybersecurity test? It was so focused on achieving the goal that it actually bypassed the implied rules.
Right. It was almost too good at its job.
Yeah, it is a bit unsettling.
So how do we prevent that? How do we make sure that these AI agents stay aligned with our intentions?
That's a tough question. There's no easy answer, but one approach is to build in safeguards.
Okay.
Systems that can monitor these AI agents, detect unusual behavior, and even intervene if necessary.
So like a safety net for AI.
Exactly. And this is an area of active research.
And I imagine human oversight will continue to be important. We can't just set these agents loose without any human supervision.
Absolutely not. Human oversight is critical, especially in these early stages. We need people in the loop to monitor these systems, provide feedback, and course correct as needed.
So it's really a partnership between humans and AI.
It has to be. We need to leverage the strengths of both to create a future where AI agents can help us solve these complex problems, but in a way that is safe, ethical, and beneficial for everyone.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've seen how these AI agents work their potential and some of the risks involved.
Yeah.
But one thing keeps coming back to me. If these things are so smart, how do we make sure they're being smart for us?
That's the million-dollar question, and it's where things get even more complicated. Because it's the way these AI agents work, their ability to reason and adapt.
Right.
That's what makes them so powerful. But it also makes it tricky to guarantee that they'll always act in our best interest.
Right, because they're not just following a set of rules. They're making judgments, adapting to new information.
Right.
It's almost like we're trusting them to be responsible.
And that trust is essential, but it also needs to be earned. And that's where the concept of transparency comes in.
Okay.
We can't just treat these AI agents as black boxes. We need to be able to understand how they're making decisions, what factors they're considering.
So it's not enough to just see the outcome we need to be able to look under the hood, see the process.
Exactly. And that's where that technical blog post gets really interesting.
Okay.
It dives into some specific patterns that developers are using to make these AI agents more transparent and accountable.
Like that reflection and critique thing we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
where the AI agent can evaluate its own work.
That's one example, but there are others, like the explainability pattern.
Okay.
This is where the AI agent can actually explain its reasoning
Wow.
in a way that humans can understand.
Really?
It can tell you why it made a particular decision, what data it used, and how it weighed different factors.
So it's like the AI agent can justify its actions.
It is, and that level of transparency is crucial, especially in areas where these AI agents are making decisions that have, significant consequences.
Right, like healthcare, finance, self-driving cars.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to know that the AI is making sound judgments, that it's not going off the rails.
And that brings us back to the role of human oversight.
Okay.
Even with all these safeguards, human involvement is still essential.
Right.
We need people in the loop to monitor these systems, to provide feedback, and to step in if needed.
So it's not a case of it's not AI versus humans.
Right.
It's about finding the right balance, the right collaboration.
Precisely. And that's where things get really exciting, because if we can get this right,
Yeah.
if we can find that balance, then the potential is truly enormous. We can use these AI agents to solve some of the world's toughest problems, to improve our lives in ways we can barely imagine.
It's pretty amazing to think about.
It is.
But we have to be careful, right? We have to approach this with caution,
Absolutely.
with a deep understanding of both the potential and the risks.
This is a powerful technology, and with great power comes great responsibility.
True.
We need to be thoughtful, deliberate, and above all, we need to keep humans at the center of the equation.
Well said. I think that's a great place to wrap things up. So to our listener who sent in this stack of articles, hopefully we've shed some light on how these AI agents actually work.
Mm-hmm.
It's complex stuff.
Yeah.
But the key takeaways are clear transparency, accountability, and human oversight.
And a healthy dose of curiosity and caution.
Yes, definitely.
This is a rapidly evolving field, and staying informed is crucial.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Of course.
And remember, the future of AI is not something that's happening to us, it's something we're creating together.